welcome to another episode today. On this dive, I'll be hunting mutton snappers. I had a special order from a restaurant nearby, and basically need to find 100 pounds of mutton snappers. The bigger the better, good quality fish. And the thing is, the day I had to go out though ended up being a pretty dirty water day. But on a good note, it was very cold on the bottom, which is good for snappers normally. And it was about 60 degrees down there. But because of how cold it was, I ended up finding a lot of red snappers. So one of the tougher things on this dive was differentiating between the two. Red snappers, they're not open year round. Even though they're great eating fish, they are much more regulated. And it would make it a lot easier if I could shoot these fish instead of the mutton snappers. But in order to do everything legally, I had to hunt just the muttons only. The difference between the two is a lot of times their behavior. A red snapper will look at you longer, and if you lock eyes with them, they won't turn away just about every time like a mutton will. So you'll notice on this dive, I have a lot of times where I'm about to shoot the fish, especially with the visibility the way it is, but then I pull back last minute because I realize how long the fish is looking at me, or its other behavior, or the shape of its nose has made me determine that it's a red snapper, not a mutton snapper. So let's get started. As I drop down here, the water is probably about 75 degrees. Not too cold yet. Start to see pelagics coming in here. See some bears underneath them. A couple decent ones, but they're pretty spooky as soon as I start holding the gun up here. As you can see. Really want to make sure I get especially the first fish of the dive, because if I mess up on that one, it can mess up the whole vibe when it comes to snappers especially. Unlike others, they don't come in on commotion always. Temperature starts dropping here. It's my goal to land on the deck because the bottom here is 240 feet or 250 feet in some parts. But when it's dirty like this, it's not always the case. With the temperature dropping, the visibility opens up a little bit. But I'm right above the sand, as I realize. Probably about 220 feet here. Looks like the lifeboat's in the sand here, or something similar. So I know the deck must be nearby here. Here's a mutton right here, confirmed. I make sure to keep them pretty far away from the edge here, because there's a bunch of ropes hanging always, as you can see. I've had a very close call with that, especially since it's so deep. Messes with your mind a bit with the narcosis. No better than to go down to the sand, even if I see fish heading down to it. Both me and my father have actually had close calls hunting fish near the sand here, so we try to avoid it. Notice right here, if you look, that snapper right there is not a mutton. Similar though. That's a red snapper. Notice how much it looks at me though. Much more curious. There's another snapper right there. I use the gun without the reel, if you notice. Not just because it's smaller and more versatile for quick reloading, but with the reel, hunting muttons especially, they can pull line out and get tangled easier. So if I can stick to this gun, I try to. That way I have a gun to shoot my last fish, like an amberjack, that I can trust to not get caught as much on the way up with the reel gun. See the snapper right here? Red snapper. Yeah, this is the part you really don't want to get caught in. I've had a mutton go right into that stuff before. See these margate grunts here? Sometimes the snappers will sit with them, so you gotta look closely. See snapper coming in between them all. And it's a red snapper. Mutton confirmed. Tried to aim good on that one. He's in a bad place. He definitely would have tried to get caught around the lines in front of him. So, got a good stopping shot right on him in the brain. Try to continuously work my way up in the water column more. It's better for my decompression, gives me more time down there instead of going back down, especially because I started so deep on this one. I usually start on the deck somewhere, not past it, if you noticed. School Margate looms over here by the AA tower. The machine gun AA tower, I call it. Some blacks over there. It's not season right now, so. Another one down there. Another in front. Similar to this mess here, you gotta watch the valve on your tank, stuff like this. Swim too close to it. Right here, I see a dark tail. And mutton confirmed. I gotta pull back right here. He's heading right towards the mesh, as you can see. The problem with these fish, you gotta shoot them wherever you can a lot of times. Like you just seen that shot. There's no other shot you can really do in all these situations with mutton snappers. They're notorious for it. Just make sure it's centered. It's the most important thing. I inflate my BC to float them up away from this mess more. There's another snapper ahead of me right now. Small cabera over there. It's mostly almaco jacks right here. There's a couple of big amberjacks mixed in. Snapper right there. Get over here near the AA gun. Snap here. See the dark of his tail right there. But he starts sounding. As I said before, to go into the sand, then it's not worth it. Especially at the end of a dive like this. It's a good way to get that. See something between all these fish here. It's mutton. Perfect stopping shot. Got him. I have my reel gun here. could shoot something pelagic before I head up, so it could fight itself while I deco. Starting my ascent. Just gotta pick the right one. Starting to hit a different layer of water now. You can tell the temperature change, getting a little warmer. Start making some commotion. Some pelagics go for more. There we go. Continuing my ascent now. Leveling back out now at the depth I want to. Boat did a great job. There's not much current on this day though, so a little easier for them. Amberjack is pretty injured. He floated up pretty quickly here. Up with these 4 muttons here. About 50 pounds, so got a little over, it's about 50-55 pounds I'd say. They're all over 10 pounds if I remember right. So they're about 12 to 15 pounds each, so I got a little over half of my quota that I'm after. So it's off to a good start. This was the first dive. Don't always send a fish up like this, but when the boat's nearby like that, I get a better feeling about doing it for obvious reasons. You don't always want to do it. There's sharks nearby and no, boat to scare them away. Try to stay under them though. Definitely makes a difference if there is predators nearby. Just always as a precaution. Got the snappers in the boat now. Pressure's off. Time to deal with the amberjack now. So hit him with the gun. And then with the knife. These fish always come back to life. I mean, it's hard to even tell if they really come back to life or it's just nerves, but it's hard to really get these fish to stop going. You'll notice once they get hooked, he'll come back to life again here, even though his pupil's dilated. Very tough animal for sure. the gun up, so now he's pulling the amberjack in. As you can see, they somewhat come back to life pretty easily. You gotta watch out for that though, so try to incapacitate them the best you can, because they'll find their way to fall off dead, and then you just wasted, you know, not just a fish, but, you know, a life for nothing. Gets eaten by a shark or something. You know, you feed something out of it usually, of course, but, you know, not really something you want to do on purpose. Pulls the fish in. Everything in the boat. Time to get back to decompressing. After deco here, slowly make my way up. Slowly become more and more positively buoyant. Use my lung twist mostly. Slowly get more in. So slowly, very slowly make my way to the surface. Safest way.
Yo. No boost. Up? Yeah, no boost.
Definitely one of the nicer days. Just missing good clarity down there, but all the other conditions are great. There's the amberjack here. Here's the snappers. Successful snapper dive, especially for the depth and time given. Can't complain. Over halfway done with the order. It's about $500, a little over $500 with the special price. So halfway through the special order here. Can't complain about that dive. Thanks for watching. Should have another video for y'all soon.